Hey everybody, I'm Matt Wilson, Commissioner of the ITF, and this is a little instructional video for how to teach new throwers how to throw an axe. So the key three things that we're going to focus on here for throwing the hatchet is grip, stance, and body motion. And we found over the years of coaching at different locations and getting feedback throughout the ITF membership that these core fundamentals can really make sure that all coaches out there, when you're coaching someone new to throw an axe, can have a high success rate with a vast majority of the throwers that come through your door. So let's cover those fundamentals. All right, so let's start with the grip. Try and imagine I'm going to use some of my language that I actually do use with guests when I'm coaching, and I do still coach periodically at venues, and I do have a pretty high success rate. So I'm going to start by demonstrating and explaining how I would to a guest. I'd say, okay, everybody, first off, I want you to grab your axe near the bottom of the handle with your dominant hand. So I'm going to use my right hand. You use whichever is good for you. And then the opposite hand, I'm going to put over top of that first hand. So my left hand is on top of my right hand, just like this. No thumb on the handle, nice and easy, just like this. And that's basically the summary for grip. And I would do that while standing in between the two targets here and demonstrating it to them so that they're in position facing the targets, with their axes facing the targets while they mimic and follow along. Okay, so that grip is pretty straightforward, right? Dominant hand at the bottom of the handle, opposite hand on top. We start with the two-handed throw to get familiar with the motion. And then should you choose, you can quickly move to a one-handed throw and have people try that as well. We really just want to do a couple with two hands so they can get familiar with this body movement of the arm coming straight up over their head. But absolutely feel free to have throwers switch to one hand at any time and try it if they like. Okay, but now we're going to get into stance. So we've got the axe gripped by our dominant hand, my right hand in this case, with my left hand over top. I'm going to then say, okay, I want you to step forward with your opposite foot forward. So opposite foot to the hand that is your dominant hand. So my left foot, I'm going to put in front of the throwing line here. And I take the opportunity here to let the guests know that this is a reference line and that we will move them around a little bit depending on how their throw mechanics come together. So don't get hung up on where they are. Just remember when they find a good spot and they're successful that that's their spot. So I'm going to start people with their opposite foot in front of the white line, so their heel right at that mark. And then I'll tell them to put the back foot a foot or two behind so they've got a nice, decently wide gate here so that they can transfer their weight back and forth. Okay? So from the top, I'm saying, first we want to grip the axe with our dominant hand down to the bottom, opposite hand over top, nice and easy like this, no thumb on the back, just like so. And then we're going to stand around this line here with our opposite foot to our throwing hand in front of the line and a nice and relaxed stance with a decent straddle across the line so that we can transfer our weight back and forth. Just repeating that so you can hear that's the type of language I would use almost verbatim with a guest. And then the third part of our fundamentals of coaching is body motion. So once I've gone through the grip and then I've gone through the stance, I'm also mimicking along. I would be standing in the middle of the two targets following along. So we're now all standing like this. They've followed along. They've got their grip, they've got their stance, and I would encourage them, hold the axe like so, look through the back of the head into the bullseye, and then when you're ready, I tell the guests, bring the axe all the way back and all the way forward, let it go straight in front and follow through. And those physical motions that I just did are exactly what I do as I say those words. I act it out while I explain it. And the key there is I really think it's important to tell them all the way back and all the way forward in one fluid motion, and then lean in and follow through. Let go straight in front. Those are the key things to really hit home in your initial description. All of this helps with people getting power behind their throw. So those who are a little more timid or perhaps just don't have a whole ton of body strength, we don't want them to stop back here and then snap forward. Things like that create extra rotation and that kind of thing. So this is the logic, and those are the fundamentals of throwing. So from the top, grip, dominant hand, opposite hand on top. Stance, the opposite foot to your dominant hand in front of the line with a nice straddle across the line so we can transfer our weight back and forth. Body motion, all the way back, all the way forward, lean in, let go of the axe right in front, and follow through. And that's the core of everyone that I coach that comes to the door. And we've seen a ton of great success with that over the years, just getting the vast majority of people to succeed very quickly.